we're good to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No, I thought you were doing some sort of an introduction, so that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah. I'll just start with the introduction, sir, and then you can
Okay.
proceed.
Yeah, sure.
Good evening, delegates. We would like to welcome all of you for the seventh edition of PCGT Model Youth Parliament, organized by Praveen Gandhi College of Law in collaboration with SVKM's organized by Public Concern for Governance Trust in collaboration with Praveen Gandhi College of Law. So, starting with the introductions, I am Ishi Chandra. I'll be the OC member for this committee. We would like to, um, we would like to one second, sir. I think I'm having a network issue. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. We would like to introduce our Chief of Press, Mr. Sriyansh Mohanty, and our Deputy Chief of Press, Mr. Veer Shah, will be here shortly. I would like all the delegates to turn on their cameras for active participation, and any queries regarding to the ROP or any queries as such will be taken up by the executive board. If there's anything else, the organizing committee member is here for you. Yes, sir. You may please begin. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ishi. Okay, firstly, very good evening to one and all. My name is Sriyansh Mohanty. I'm serving as the head of national press, as they would say, for this edition of the PCGT Model Youth Parliament 2025. This will be my second conference in Bombay, per se, and so this is something I was looking forward to attend a couple of years back as well as a participant, but I think God has been kind enough to give me the opportunity to take things forward as an executive board. So yeah, really looking forward to it. A little bit about me. I'm currently a PhD scholar working on India's foreign policy. I'm also working with the think tank Institute of Chinese Studies, where we are working for greater India-China relationship at this point of time. And my firm is also one of the key contributors to the, if you may call it, the backdoor diplomacy that happens with respect to China. So we have been at the back door of it. So yeah, that's one of the exciting projects that I'm currently working in. And apart from that, I've been doing Model UN conferences and youth parliaments since 2014. And it's been a long 10 plus years now. International press is, of course, one of the fortes which I've specialized in over the last couple of years. And it's one of the things which I've loved doing primarily because I feel, journalists play an extremely crucial role in the world that lies today. And it's extremely important to ask questions of, greater significance. And especially, I believe, if you're questioning to the power, you kind of position yourself at a situation where you can get the public trust, you can rebuild accountability, you can direct policies in your favor, or you can, bifurcate a debate that is actually contributing to the significant role of the public participation in the first place. So these are important aspects that press should be about. Now, regarding the simulation that IP generally has, or the Indian press here will have, or national press, you might call it, one of the first things which I generally follow is that if you guys have any queries at first, so I rather take it more of an approach where I address your queries first before I proceed with what the supposed ROPs of the national press simulation will be like. So, yeah, are there any queries? Hello. Is there any query as such?
Yeah, I had one.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as press or the member of press, how much of when I'm covering a particular committee, how deep is the research expected to be? Should I just focus on understanding just the key issues and overview to frame sharper questions, or is it better if I dive into the complete history and detailed functioning of a committee?
So, uh, again, thank you so much for the question. I think one of the most important aspects of this simulation itself is that there'll be a lot of emphasis on how you place your research, how you analyze your research, and how you, present your research to a way when it's more of a publication, right? One of the things which I believe personally is that your research is contributing to an audience that may not be knowing much about the world of youth parliaments or model UN conferences, right? So the significant aspect here becomes that your research should not be all about big jargons or the most sophisticated, complicated words, but it rather should be in a way that actually talks about things in a much smoother manner. It talks about intricate issues in the most simplest of manners, because the audience that we're actually covering in terms of uh, newsletter, it's not really the audience of the conference, but rather it's the audience that is outside of the realm of the conference. So the general expectation of your research should be that it should be more or less the reflection of what you do, but also in terms of how you're presenting it. So, like I said, I mean, if I have to take one example, um, the national security apparatus that may have that is in existence in India, like how do you explain national security to an audience, right? That is conventionally one of the most difficult aspects to explain in terms of a lot of journalistic language and all that stuff. But how you present it to an audience that may not know much about national security is where the key lies. So that is the general expectation which I generally carry forward, if it answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, are you taking other questions?
Yeah, sure.
Sir, a couple of them. Firstly, I would like to ask you what emphasis would be laid upon on the language of the speech itself. The fact of the matter remains that an article could be written with different perspectives. It could be written in different ways. Some more fun than others, some more informative than others, which makes an important aspect as to what is expected of us when we write a document.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, I would like to ask which is a particular thing that you would expect. In the study guide, there were a number of different articles that we could have conveyed.
Yep.
What would be looked at us in that particular circumstance so that we are to choose the right language?
So generally, the expectation of every article is completely different, right? When it comes to, let's say, something like a beat article. A beat article. So I'll also go on explaining what these articles are in through your questions itself. So conventionally, a beat article is the most simplistic form of an article that tells you what the beat of the committee is. Now, the complexity of a beat itself is so dynamic that you don't know what it means. Sometimes it could be a certain, you know, direction of the committee. Sometimes it could be a disruption that is happening in the committee, whether things are going smoothly or not. It could be one of the disturbances that may have come across in the committee. It could be something based on a heated debate that may have been taking place in the committee. It could be anything. The interpretation of a beat differs from person to person, but how you assess that beat, how you capture that beat, is again of your skill thing, right? One of the important aspects here turns out to be the aspect of how you write your language, right? In terms of the language, I mean, I do not expect journalists to write those witty pieces with a lot of humor and all that stuff. No, that's strictly not allowed in the first place, because we expect you to write it in a language that is suitable for an audience that is looking forward to working with things in a way, and an audience which may not know much about it. So when you start putting humor or some kind of a sarcastic tone to a language, especially in an article, so or in layman's term, I would expect you to not be a Palki Sharma Upadhyay in your articles, right? That's the conventional way of putting it up. Don't be a Palki Sharma Upadhyay. Be yourself. I mean, when I say don't replicate somebody else, but be yourself, be in a way where you're describing things in the way as it may have happened, right? You do not have to complicate a lot of words. You do not have to use repetitive words. You do not have to even use AI for that matter. You could just state things as they are in your language that you may feel that, oh, it's sunne mein to acha hi hai, right? So that is a conventional way I look at things without making it much complicated. I hope that answers your question on the language.
Yes, sir. If
Yeah,
I'm allowed to follow up,
yeah, sure.
the other aspect that I wanted to ask in this very same thing is we are at a model youth parliament where
Yeah.
certain judgments might be taken, and as the fact of the matter remains, certain courts might have one opinion while another clearly doesn't. and
Yep.
so does the very intricacies of a committee. Certain members are just going to argue upon a point at hand.
Yep.
In that particular circumstance, there is a very clear bias that may or may not come out that inherently ourselves might not be aware of,
Yep.
simply because of the person we are. We have to represent ourselves. In that case, how is that judged and how is that scrutinized on that front?
So one of the things that I talk about is committee dynamics. We really never have a scope of, controlling the dynamics of a committee as they are, because we have to adjust our writing or our pieces of submissions that we have according to the debate of the committee as well, right? For example, there is a pieces like insight report. Okay, now insight report, conventionally, a lot of people might be new to an insight report in the first place, but let me tell you what that thing is. For the exact thing that you just mentioned, insight report is one of the things that actually covers that aspect. In an insight report, you might be asked to go around and do research, not exactly like an opinionated research, but more like an analytical research. Now, how does that differ? Sometimes there is a opportunity where you get to know about a certain judgment in the past that may have happened, or a certain bill that may have been, that should have been scrutinized, but it did not really get scrutiny of that short, right? So that is exactly where one of the opportunities comes up to you in an insight report, where you can scrutinize that particular past bill or some former judgment, or how uh, a certain party has changed its stance from like one thing to another over the years, and you can show a particular shift in that thing, right? So that is one of the things which is conventionally important.
Yes, sir. I have two more. I'm sorry to constantly be the
Yeah,
one asking.
just a second. I have to pick something. Just give me a minute, okay? Just
Yes,
give
sir.
me. Yep. So sorry. Yeah.
Yes, sir. The first one of my two questions is slightly long and it has two parts. The one is it's a very clear tactic that people in Model UN and also actual parliamentarians use, which is disrupt and deceive. Disrupt committee as humanly fast as possible and to deceive them with facts and random jargon you spill up. In that circumstance, if we are to write a document, one of the pieces, maybe an interview or a separate piece, scrutinizing, will a negative document make sense considering the fact that while in most circumstances talking about a particular incident or a particular thing is to be looked at in a positive light, our country's journalists have somehow made it a thing to also write negatively. The second part of the question, which I will also ask at the same time, is when it comes to interviews, which is one of the ways this can be done so that we get further information. How is interviews to be looked at from our perspective, since there are like three different kinds of interviews that occur? We could interview a chairperson like Mr. Devak. There could be a circumstance where I could interview somebody like Shivam sir or Kimaya who are on the secretariat. And there is the other delegate aspect that I've mentioned. How do we bifurcate among this?
Right. So coming to the interview aspect, generally a lot of circuits have the opportunity of interviewing the secretariat members, the advisors, the chairpersons, or the executive board members. In my simulation, it's a completely different thing. We just interview the delegates. The choice of the delegates again differs from how you want to take it, because it depends on a lot of dynamics. Like, let's say if there are three journalists from your committee and all three of you pick that particular delegate to be interviewed, that is where you have to sort out the differences within you guys and decide upon one portfolio that at least each one of you can go and take an interview, because we do not want repetitive interviews from the same committee of the same person all throughout, given by the three journalists of that very committee, right? So that is one of the things. So delegate interview is what I'm stressing upon. The dynamics, of course, will change and depend a lot on how many journalists you have in your committee and how many of you are willing to do the interview for that delegate, right? So one of the case that you can actually take is, let's say it's a Lok Sabha or something, right? Um, if one person does an interview for someone from the BJP, from the government, the other person can actually interview someone from the opposition, let's say Rahul Gandhi or somebody else, right? So that's one of the dynamics I can tell you. What was your first question, though? Was it something on the lines
Yeah.
of disrupt
What
and
about
deceive?
somebody spread, like if somebody spreads a negative particular,
Yeah.
comes up with a principle of their own in domestic law which doesn't exist,
Hmm.
and I wish to write upon that aspect of it, which might sound negative even if it is not my perspective upon it, because it's simply criticizing something that's been said wrong, right? You're
Yep.
trying to deep deeper.
Yep.
How positively or negatively would it be looked, considering it is a negative thing? How to
So
particularly frame that to be better?
So generally, the perception of a negative or a positive piece differs from, a lot of angles. Okay. For example, if you're trying to even scrutinize a bill that is proposed by the government today, and supposedly you write it in opinionated pieces, right? The first and single most thing that happens is that everyone from the government side will criticize you or call it negative just because you've decided to question them on these aspects, right? From the opposition's perspective, it might be positive that because you're giving a certain feedback to the government regarding the bill or certain criticism or a constructive criticism, right? But if you're equating the very same thing against the opposition, um, one of the accusations that will be upon you, or journalistic freedom for that matter, will be the aspect that the government has asked you to write in this manner against the opposition. Because in every democracy, you question the people in power. In very often democracies, you see journalists questioning the ones in opposition. In India, we see more of that and less of the other. But still, I mean, I want to make a change with that. So probably we'll go with a more neutral way. Okay. You scrutinize them, you give a constructive criticism of these pieces, not in a portrayal of negative or positive image of them or your pieces, but more in a straightforward manner that actually gives a constructive criticism of something, not like an overt tilt or any kind of a writing that may, turn out to be more of a backlash, right? If you're getting the point.
Yes, sir. I
Yeah.
finally question now. Again, a slightly longer one.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Normally, from what I've heard, press committees are placed where there are two kinds of them. The first, in which delegates are freely allowed to move to whichever committee they wish and to cover what they wish to. And second, where they are particularly held in certain committees and they are to cover that committee at a much higher and deeper level.
Yeah.
Which one is this to be? How would press conferences work in the way that they do? And what is, and I'm sorry for the third part, a lot of executive board members take offense when this is asked. I hope this is not one of those cases. What is the manner of judgment utilized when it's collated in a mark sheet of some sort?
Yeah, perfect. I think you explained all of these things that I actually follow. Firstly, coming to the aspect of whether your allocation of a committee, I mean, you're allowed to freely move any committee you want. That's not really the case possible, because one of the constraints of a press conference is that you need to have spent at least 3 to 4 sessions of that very committee before you address a press conference of that committee, right? That is the threshold which I keep, at least for a 2 day conference. For a 3 day conference, it has to be like you have to spend like five, minimum 5 sessions of a committee before you address the press conference of that committee, right? So this is the threshold regarding the allocation, of course, post this session. I think probably by tonight or maybe tomorrow morning, I'll be sending a delegate allotment sheet, sorry, a journalist allotment sheet that you guys will have to fill up. That will be more of a sheet that you can put up your preferences in terms of which committee you would like to report from, and the allotments that I'll be making post the closure of the committee form, let's say on Tuesday evening or something, or Tuesday morning. I'll probably do it more on the way of how the dynamics of the committees are. For example, if the National Security Council does not have more than 20 people, I might just keep, like, let's say, two journalists in that committee. It cannot have four, five journalists. Four or five journalists I can keep in some other committees that may have a bigger strength, right? This is how the dynamics will look like. In terms of the marking, of course, I will tell you everything, all the criterias, even on which I mark. Because the thing is, I've been absolutely transparent in terms of the marking scheme and the mark sheet. You will get the mark sheet right after I announce the awards in the closing ceremony. That's one of the first things that you get. But before that, even during the session, probably in the last session or something, if we get the time, I'll explain you guys what kind of criteria which I'm actually looking forward in terms of all of these things is, right? For example, a beat is marked very differently, opinionated editorial is marked very differently, press conference is marked very differently, opinion polls are marked very differently, interviews are marked very differently. We have different criteria for all of that. So I'll be explaining all of that I think in the briefing session also, I'll tell you, so you will also get an idea what you should be looking at in terms of writing.
Sorry, I have one last question, if that is
Yeah,
allowed.
sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, my final question is with regard to this. There are a lot of documents, and there'll be a lot of publications that we will get to write. Um, my question remains that if we are in a committee for 4 or 5 sessions across the 2 days, are we expected to write only from that particular committee, or would we have the opportunity to write from other committees as well if we didn't look? Thank you for answering that. And
Yeah.
are we to cover all kinds of documentations, or how is that particular thing to work? What are the deadlines aspect of it?
So the deadlines, of course, I'll let you know on the day one of the conference, because I cannot tell you about what kind of articles I'll be expecting beforehand, because I like to keep the journalists on toes as well. So that's the surprise element which I always come across. But nonetheless, there will be one requirement that you guys might need to do before conference, that I call it as a pre-conference opinionated editorial. Now, what is a pre-con op-ed? A pre-con op-ed is supposedly very different from a conventional opinionated editorial. In a conventional opinionated editorial, you're expected to write on what substance that has happened in the committee, right? But in a pre-con op-ed, you might have to give the context of why this meeting is very important, why is this being convened in the first place, and what are the things that we need to look at? What is the dynamics of the politics that is happening behind this meeting as well, right? You have to give the present context as well of what is happening and what are the dynamics of the political changes and all that stuff, right? So that's one of the things which will be there.
All right, sir. That's pretty much it from me. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more doubts, queries? Any doubts, queries?
Had a doubt.
Yeah.
In the file, the Google Drive that was sent, here is written that there are multiple kinds of articles that journalists are expected to write and submit during the conference. And the committee mentioned are the minimum requirements. So, do we have to write all the 7 types of articles given, and do you have to
No.
write them in the conference?
So it's not necessary that you have to write all the kind of articles. It mostly depends on the timings as well. For example, if I see the possibility of me, making you guys write these articles and also getting these submissions before time, then I'll keep the number extremely limited. Okay, because I prefer the aspect of quality over the quantity. I don't want to overburden myself with a lot of articles which I may not really have a lot of time to read, but rather I'll keep a lot of good chunk of quality articles in a limited number of setup, because we have 15 people, right? That's a very good number for a conference in terms of journalists, because we get a crux of it, right? You do not need like 10 journalists in one committee. You can do the same stuff with like 2, 3 journalists in the same committee. So the dynamics, of course, will depend on what we are looking at. Uh, I mean, I have not decided any particular deadline for any article because I usually do that with consultation in the first day of the conference with you people when I take it up in the briefing session. So yeah, that's one of the things which I'm looking at. Also, one of the things which I'm particularly known for and specialize in is a press conference. And so press conference is for its own reasons very special to me because for whatever I've achieved in terms of IP is because of press conferences. And press conferences in my simulation are extremely crucial because that can actually land you up from nowhere in the mark sheet to probably in the top two places on the mark sheet. So that's how crucial a press conference is. I mean, I've been a subject to that. I have also propagated the very same thing that press conferences have its own set of values. I mean, primarily for two reasons. Firstly, in your conventional pieces, it is only me who is going to judge you for whatever you're writing, right? Nobody else, not even we, right? But in a press conference, you're not just judged by me, but you're also judged probably by the chairperson because he will see what kind of research you have done. You'll also get judged not like marking, but like conventionally judged, right? You'll also get judged from a lot of delegates in those committees who are sitting, right? So that essentially gives you a lot of scrutiny to look at. And then probably you'll get an opportunity where, you'll be like, oh, maybe this is my moment to shine. And maybe I should ask more intriguing questions and all that stuff. That's one of the ways you go about that aspect in the first place. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Also, I had like one more question.
Yeah.
After we write the articles, like to whom and like how do we submit them? Also, should the articles have like, photos from the photographer people?
Right. So conventionally, I accept all the submissions via Google Forms. Okay. Now, one of the reasons why I accept it that way is because conventionally, if you send me anything by email, it may not really reflect in my email all the time, right? That's one of the problems which I generally face. That's why I shifted to Google Forms in the first place. And yes, I think the requirement of photographs is essential because I will also be requiring these photographs for the newsletter. So I'll be able to put them up if you're attaching pictures. However, that may not be the precondition for all the submissions, but at least for the interview piece, for interview pieces and let's say a beat, these are the absolutely compulsory things. For beat and interview, a picture is a must. And in especially interview, you need the picture of the journalist, sorry, of the delegate or the member of parliament you're interviewing, right? So that's one of the requirements.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any more doubts, queries?
Sir, may I ask one last thing?
Yeah, ask 10, not last.
In the guide that was given to us, there were some word limits mentioned. Would we be sticking to those, or would different word limits be given to us, considering the fact that the main piece that was also applied as a suggestion or an example, I believe, was more words than the ones that we are being asked to write?
Oh, which piece are you referring here?
The one that is in the guide itself, I believe.
Acha, acha. Oh, yeah. So again, when I say about these word limits, these generally differ from conference to conference. I've also written opinionated editorials that are like 1,000 words. Okay, that's one of the things that is there. But conventionally, when you write in 1,000 words article, I do not have to just read it through. Okay, one of the requirements that I need to do is a newsletter. The requirements of a newsletter is very dynamic because I have to think about the layout and all these stuff before I proceed with all the other things and all, right? So from a layout perspective, the 600 to 800 thing is still manageable for me because it helps me calculate how much space do I need for this article to fit in that page, right? So these are the requirements that I generally see.
All right, that's pretty much it.
Also, the conventional, let's say, if I've written anything like because I'll be giving you fresh word limits in the conference, in the pre-conference, sorry, in the briefing session on day one itself, because I'll take your suggestions that how much do you guys want to write? Will it be one page? Will it be 1.5 page or 2 pages or something, I'll take that into consideration, right? And it's always 50 plus minus. Like, let's say if the word limit is 500, it could be 450 or 550. So yeah.
All right. Another thing that just popped into my mind was this aspect of it. You mentioned a document that we need to write before the conference. Um, in a beat piece, normally we have the freedom to choose a particular aspect that has been said or covered in committee in our document. Um, in the particular thing that is going to be asked of us to write, would we be asked to write on a specific topic, or are we allowed to cover whichever part of the agenda at committee is ours?
I'm so sorry. I think I just there were some network issues in the middle. Could you repeat the question again?
Yes, sir, of course. My question was simple. In our committee, when we are sitting and covering a committee, we have the choice to choose our beat in which we
Yeah,
write the document.
yeah.
We are also expected to write a document before the committee starts. In this circumstance, is a topic given to us that we must cover for
No, no, no,
unanimity, or we
no,
can choose
no.
any part of the agenda?
That is your discretion. Which part of the agenda you wish to choose upon, that's up to you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Any more doubts and queries? None? That's very surprising. I mean, it's only my second time in Bombay, and I don't see any doubts after a lot of doubts asked by Jay and RDB. Yeah,
Hi, I had a question.
yeah, yeah.
I'm in photography and I wanted
Oh,
to ask.
photography.
Yes.
Photography. Veer will be
Hi.
taking up after my session. So yeah, you can ask all
Oh,
your questions to Veer. Yeah,
Yes, I'll be conducting the ROP session just after Sriyansh is done.
yeah,
okay, all right.
yeah. Right. Do we have more doubts, queries? Because I think I've explained most of this stuff, and for any guidance that you may require, please refer to the background guide in the first place. That is the first source that will tell you what things are, where we are looking at, what kind of report we are working towards. These are the first requisites of it, right? Secondly, after those doubts are, probably if your questions have all been answered by the background guide, and then there are still questions, you can still text in the group, not personal text. Okay, I'm very bad at responding to personal text. I may keep someone text pending for like 1 2 months. I'm not even kidding on that. So please text in the group because, or tag me in the group as well to answer that question. Uh, Primarily for one reason. When you're asking a doubt, there might be someone with a hesitation to ask the very same thing, but he or she might be on a hesitant to not ask that because they feel that, oh, this could be a very silly question or something like that. So that essentially helps them clearing a lot of doubts in the way of, you addressing that doubt in the committee and for me to answer that, right? So you can do that. Um, any doubts and queries other than that?
One last thing, sir.
Yeah,
Um, in a conventional committee, the role of the executive board member is to arbitrate committee and mark them. In our committee, what sort of role would you put yourself in, considering the fact that you will be marking us, of course. However, IP will be considerably different from what an NCP or a Lok Sabha would be. In that
yeah.
circumstance, what would your particular role in committee be when it comes to us? If we have to talk to you about something, if you have to discuss something, what is your particular stance on that? What is your role in committee as such, if I'm allowed to ask?
So basically, our role as an executive board, especially with regards to me and Veer, we have two different. I mean, this is more of a designation, but we are handling two different departments. I'm handling the one for journalism. Veer is handling the one for photography. So all your queries concerning journalism could be addressed to me. All your questions concerning photography, we can be the person to answer all of that. We would be there in the committee most of the time, but the only time we may not be in the committee is when we would be going around the committee, seeing the flow of debate in those committees and all that stuff. We might be meeting you inside of the committee and taking a certain feedback of what the debate looks like, how is the progress on your articles and all that stuff. Meanwhile, I'll also be working on the newsletter because that's one of the things which is a, what do you call, a specialization for me. For that, I'd be needing a lot of cooperation from you guys because I've promised the people that just like every other conference, I'll be giving you the newsletter in the closing ceremony or before the closing ceremony. And considering the previous newsletters which I have seen, fair to say PCGT is in for a lot of surprises this time. So yeah, looking forward to it. Yes, Jay, your doubt is clear.
Yes, sir. The only thing that I wanted to know is what level of guidance would you to provide in this circumstance? What I mean by that is, let's assume I'm writing a particular document, but there is a conflict of interest I may have. As a normal, conventional delegate in a UN committee or in any other circumstance, it is not our duty to go to the executive board and ask something. However, when it comes to the international press,
I
as a
don't think
person
I
who
can
is,
hear you.
sir, can you hear me now? Um, am I audible?
I'm
Am
so
I audible?
sorry. I'm so sorry. There was some network issue in the middle. You were just
Uh,
mentioning something like on the lines of I'm a conventional delegate, and then
No, sir.
there was a lot of
I wanted
silence.
to ask, as a in a conventional committee, things like conflict of interest and the executive boards are completely different. In our circumstance, press, I believe, would be comparatively completely different. In that circumstance, if we require certain guidance, if we were to ask a particular thing, considering your experience in Indian diplomacy as well, would that be looked favorably upon? Is that a negative thing?
No,
What
no,
kind of
nothing is
help
not
is looked at?
nothing is negative. I mean, you can always ask me like so generally what happens is that you honestly you're the first person to ask this question because a lot of people feel hesitant to take certain help or certain advice on how do you go about a particular piece. But I'm always happy to help people who are looking for that guidance because conventionally, when you're looking at a certain pieces or certain events, the journalistic approach is generally to see through lines. Okay. That's one of the pieces which I focus a lot because it cannot be just commentary. Okay. Journalists are expected to do a lot of comments, but in this setup, at least in, let's say if you're writing an op-ed, okay, you're not just required to comment upon something, you're required to analyze, you're required to give an opinion, you're required to assess things from a very different lens, right? That's one of the things which I'm particularly looking forward to. And you can always seek that guidance from me whenever I'm there in the committee and all. So yeah, that's never a problem. I won't be negatively marking you for asking a doubt. So yeah.
All right, thank you. That's it.
Yep. Any doubts, queries? I think it's fair enough. I mean, I think Ishi, uh, Ishi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think we have finished at least one part of the session for journalism,
Yes,
and
sir.
rest of the things I can always explain in the group if they have questions.
Right, sir.
I'll also be giving them the task of the pre-con op-ed, and I'll also be making the Google forms for the allotments and all. So yeah,
Okay,
that's
sir.
I think Veer can take over from me now.
Okay, so sir, are you going to stay in the committee or are you leaving right now?
No, I'll leave. I'll leave. I have some work.
Oh, so can we take a picture with the
Yeah,
committee?
yeah, sure.
All right, just a second.
Hi, Veer. How are you?
Hi, Sriyansh, I'm fine. How are you?
All good, all good.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
it's been a long
accidentally,
time. Yeah.
yeah, it's been a long time. And I think I heard Mumbai MUN is happening.
Yeah, it is happening. I'm not associated with it in the
Oh,
organizing capacity this time, but uh, let's see. I'll apply for press at least.
yeah, same. I think I'm also looking for because last time somebody told me to apply for the EB. I'm like, yeah, sure. This time again, I'll see.
All right.
Yeah,
I hope to see you there.
yeah, sure thing. And also give me some recommendations for Bombay because I think I'm landing in Bombay a day earlier.
Okay. I think
Yeah,
I put in a recommendation yesterday on
yeah,
the
yeah,
story.
you
Yeah,
did.
I
Yeah,
wasn't there in Mumbai yesterday, so I didn't suggest meeting up, but so I'll
yeah,
send you
yeah,
more places to visit.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Sure, all the best for the session. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right. See
sure.
you.
Yeah,
Sorry, sir. We'll just take a photo.
yeah,
I'm
okay.
so
Yeah,
sorry.
it's okay.
I'm just figuring that out. My laptop doesn't support it.
Do you want us to take a screenshot or something? I mean, I can take that.
No, sir, it's fine. I'll do it. Thank you so
Okay.
much, though.
Yeah.
Just a second, sir.
In the meanwhile, those who are here for photography ROP, can they please raise their hands? Is there a raising hand feature? I don't think so. Just put a message on the chat, right?
Yes, sir, just a moment. You'll just take one photo. Okay.
Oh, you'll take it from the phone.
So there's something with my laptop, so I won't be able to take it.
It's
I'm
okay.
really
Yeah.
sorry about it.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Done?
Delegates are calling. Okay. Bye. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Yeah.
Veer
Thank
sir,
you.
you may proceed. Really sorry to keep you
All right.
waiting.
No, that's not a problem.
Okay. All the best, Veer.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to see you.
Yeah, likewise. Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Veer Shah. I'll be acting as the Deputy Chief of Press or as the photographer in chief. It's up to you what you uh, deem me as. Uh, I'll be starting with the photography ROP right now. So those who are allotted the photography allotment, please stay back, and those who are reporters can exit the meeting. I think I'll wait for a few more to join. So do we have only three photographers in the meeting right now? Shruti, Ashley, and Purva. Yeah, I think that would be great.
All right, sir, I'll just do that.
Yeah. I think we'll wait for a few minutes, and if we'll wait for a few minutes. If people don't join, uh, and if it's okay with the three who have been waiting for such a long time, then we could just do it in the committee itself because I've got the PPT ready. I just need to walk you through it, or we could do it right here if you want the recording, whichever is preferred.
Sir, it's up to you. We can have it in the meeting also, and then if later, I'll just put a message on the group as
Yeah.
well.
So we'll wait for a few minutes because there's only
Okay,
three
sir.
people over here. But although they waited for a long time, so if the three of you want me to do it right now, I can do it, but I can also do it in the committee.
Sort of put a message. We'll just wait for a few minutes, and then if you want, we can start the session.
All right. We'll wait for a few minutes. Uh, I don't think anyone's going to join right now. Uh, but since Ashley has waited and sat through the entire reporter briefing, I think I'll just give you a quick overview of the entire committee so that it doesn't feel like a waste of time.
It's okay. I don't mind.
No, no, I'll just run through it once. मेरा भी practice हो जाएगा. मैं फिर committee में बता दूंगा अच्छे से.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Uh, the host isn't allowing sharing for this meeting. Can you please allow me to share my screen? I need to
Yes, sir.
screen
Just a
share a
second.
PPT. Yeah.
So just check if you can now.
Yeah, I can right now. Okay. Yeah. So I'll just quickly give you a overview of what all needs to be done over the course of the 2 days and what your role as a photographer would be. So firstly, the preparation that you'll have to do as a photographer would be to familiarize yourself with your equipment, watch tutorial videos and understand how your camera works and what the specifications are. Research about different composition and lighting techniques used in photography because learning these two aspects is crucial to taking good photos. A good photo is made up mainly of composition and lighting. Apart from that, there are a few things that need to be learned, but I think that's something that you learn as that's something that you gain with experience. Ashley, will you be bringing a camera to the event or will you be
Yes, yes. I'll be getting a DSLR.
all right? And have you been doing photography for a long time so that I can just skip through
Yes.
the
I
all right.
like I
Yeah,
understand most of the part, but I'm still eager to learn more.
yeah, of course. So, are you familiar with the exposure triangle, which is aperture, ISO, and shutter speed? Are you
Yes,
familiar?
yes.
All right. And are you familiar how they work together?
Yes, I do.
All right. So, do you want me to explain that, or should we move on to the submission?
If you want to, I mean, इतना hard work डाला है, तो if you want to, you can.
नहीं, मुझे वैसे भी करना ही पड़ेगा, वो तो कमेटी में करूंगा ही ना. सो
हाँ,
अगर आपको अभी सुनना है तो मैं कर सकता हूँ, नहीं तो आई कैन जस्ट मूव ऑन टू दी
it's
सबमिशन
up to
पार्ट.
you. I'm okay. I'm open to anything.
All right. Then I'll just do it in the committee itself because
Okay.
it'll दो बार क्यों. ठीक है. Anyway, I'll be sharing this ROP session slides as well. If you want to, you can go through the slides.
All right.
Okay. Since you will be bringing your own camera, I don't think you need to pay attention to this. Uh, yeah, just to let you know that you don't have to necessarily shoot in the manual mode. Shooting in the auto mode is fine. Just because I mean, I'll be talking about aperture, ISO, and shutter speed in the committee, but that doesn't mean
Mm.
that you have to shoot in the manual mode. You can just use the auto mode on your camera.
Okay.
All right. And with regards to submissions, these are the four things that you'll have to submit on each day. So on each day of the conference, I will require five with pictures for five different composition techniques, two
Hmm.
photos from each committee. So we have seven committees, including the press, and I'll need two photos from each committee. The photos have to be either of the EV or the participants.
Hmm.
So I think that's pretty straightforward. Apart from that, I'll be requiring three short video clips. These video clips have to be in a landscape format, like a horizontal format,
Understood.
and they need, if you can, adjust your camera to it or your phone to it, adjust it to 30 FPS. 30
30.
FPS, either
Okay.
4K or 1080p.
Okay.
And lastly, on each day of the conference, I need five total pictures of the OC members.
Okay.
So I'd like to ask, is there something that will help the OC member stand out, like a different color ID card or something like that?
So sir, we will have a badge with us
Okay.
that'll be there. So the delegates and the executive board members will have IDs, and we will have badges on our
All right,
uh,
perfect.
for us,
Yeah.
so that you can identify.
Okay, that's great. So people who are wearing those badges, उनके 5 photos चाहिए.
ठीक है.
In total, there'll be 5 photos of composition techniques, 14
Hmm.
of committee sessions, and 5
Hmm.
photos of the OC members, and 3 videos. This has to be done on each day. The videos
Okay.
need to be pretty short, like around 15 to 30-second clips.
Okay, understood.
All right. Are you familiar with the different composition rules?
A little bit, yes.
All right. So the 5 main composition rules that I want are
Hmm.
these. So I'll be focusing on these, which is the leading lines, symmetry, framing, rule of thirds, and viewpoint. Have you heard of any of these? Like,
Yes.
can you explain उसमें से कोई भी जो आपने सुना होगा?
I've heard of rule of thirds, ki like grid line ke
हाँ.
where the lines meet, that's where you're supposed to position it.
All right.
I
Yes.
guess.
Well, that's pretty much it. It's one of the
Uh-huh.
simplest and most widely used and most effective composition techniques.
Huh.
Apart from that, I think symmetry is pretty self-explanatory. It's just that LHS is equal to RHS. You need to maintain a
Yeah.
balance in the photo. Yeah.
Okay.
And
And what about portraits? What do you like if we take portraits, what do you
mhm,
want? What composition do you want in that?
that is completely up to you. But
Uh,
I would suggest that even while you're talking about the 14 photos, right, from the committee sessions. So if
yes,
you're taking,
yes.
okay. So for those, I would really appreciate if you go through different types of composition techniques and,
Okay.
follow some or the other type of composition technique instead of just taking a portrait. Like instead of just filling the frame with a, you know, photo of a person, ki like, matlab, 80% of the photo is just there.
Hmm.
Try to frame it in some or the other manner, because
Okay.
even if I'm not aware or not familiar with that type of composition technique, I'm sure
Hmm.
that whatever it is, it will be pleasing to the eye.
Hmm.
So instead of taking this like a random portrait, try to think about how you're positioning your subject.
Okay. And
Yeah.
if I may ask, what is viewpoint exactly?
Yeah, so I was coming to that. Viewpoint is basically getting a photo from an angle that people don't usually do. So if you look at this photo, this is from Banganga in Mumbai. Are you aware of what Banganga is?
No, I don't think so.
It's a tank in the southern part of Mumbai, and this is a stream of water that continuously flows over there, and
Okay.
it looks pretty big right now, but that is
Hmm.
because I've taken the photo from the ground up.
Yeah.
The stream of water is actually this big. It's
Okay.
just this big. But
Okay.
because I've taken it from such an angle, it looks very big compared to, the subjects in the background.
Understood.
So maneuvering your camera and keeping it at such a position that you get, a different kind of viewpoint from your photo is what viewpoint
Okay.
means. So if you want to make, let's say, a delegate look mightier than they are, you can just place the camera at a lower angle so that they appear to be larger than what they are.
Hmm.
And one very common example of viewpoint is when people take those 0.5 photos and people
Okay.
appear to be very tiny.
Okay.
Yeah. So an example of viewpoint in a youth parliament or a MUN setting would be maybe if you take a photo of a block that they're discussing in unmoderated caucus, if you take it from above, something like that.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
But feel free to explore more, different angles.
Hmm.
Don't just
Okay.
take this as the uh,
Understood. Yes.
yeah, template. And lastly, there's leading lines. Leading
Hmm.
lines, in this, basically, you try to find geometric shapes in the photo that lead
Hmm.
the viewer's eye to the subject. Now, if the subject is the bridge over here, then these
Hmm.
rail lines, they're leading to the bridge, something like that. So if I
Okay.
were to take a photo of a delegate who's sitting at the third row, in the third row, so maybe
Hmm.
I use the edges of the tables to, form like a line that's leading to the subject, something like
Okay.
that. Yeah. So that's one composition type. And the last one is framing. It's also called frame within frame, where you find something in your scene that can act as a frame for your
Hmm.
subject. So in this,
got
I
it.
found these leaves. उसके बीच में से मैंने stock का photo लिया है.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
understood.
any questions so far?
Uh, I think most of it is cleared. The submissions for day one would
Yeah.
be
Oh
what
no,
time?
I'll get to that. I'll get to that. मैं
Okay,
so
okay.
if अब तक का पूछ रहा.
Composition क्या? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's fine. Okay. Uh, the next क्या खुल गया? एक second. Timer खुल गया. कोई नहीं. The next thing is video submissions. I think I've talked
Hmm.
about this. 3 short videos per day. 15 to 30 seconds duration will of each video.
Hmm.
Landscape orientation, 4K preferred, 1080p acceptable. Doesn't really matter. If you have 4K, then I'll prefer 4K.
Okay.
Frame rate will be 30 FPS, and content can be whatever's going on in the committee sessions, or anything outside the committee sessions is fine as well. Just
Okay.
make sure that you have either some OC member or some delegate or some EB member present in the video,
Got it.
because I'll be requiring this for the after movie as well, and I'll be grading based on this as well.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Lastly,
Yeah.
these are the submission guidelines. Okay, the submission time we'll discuss and we'll decide upon it during the day of the during the first hour of the conference when I'm briefing everyone else. So that will
Hmm.
be decided, but mostly it will be 1 hour before the last committee session ends,
Even for day one?
even for day one,
Okay.
because I need to grade it as well.
All right.
Yeah. File naming format will be, so there are 4 different types of submissions, right? Composition, OC photos, videos, and committee photos. So
Hmm.
for that, the first thing in your naming will be your name, Ashley,
Hmm.
followed by, let's say you're putting in composition photo. So
Hmm.
composition details. So even in composition, if you're putting a photo of leading lines, so Ashley, composition leading lines, day one, and this has to do with actually the other criteria. So if you're putting a video, so
Okay.
Ashley video day one, so like first video. So this is the
All right.
naming format, and this is the folder structure that you'll have to create. I'll be sending a link on the group or drive link in which
Okay.
you'll have to create a folder with your name.
Hmm.
Inside that, you'll have 2 folders, day one and day two. And inside each of these folders, there'll be 4 subfolders called composition, OC, videos, and committee photos. Very
Okay,
straightforward.
got it.
And
Yeah.
then for each day, just upload your photos with this naming format in those folders. That's it.
Okay.
So I think that's about it. Uh, next
All
कैसे
right.
pretty short. If you have any questions, please feel to ask.
Yes. Let me check 1 minute. What are the marking criterias, if you can tell right now?
The marking criterias differ from submission type to submission type. I think I'll stop sharing. Wait. So let's say you're submitting composition photos. So for that, there will
Hmm.
be a different marking criteria, which will include the basic criteria that remains same for each type is the lighting, composition, and basically technical aspects of the photo. For
Hmm.
composition types, I'll be focusing more on how accurate your photo is to the type of composition that is asked.
Okay.
And apart from that, there'll be just the technical stuff like, is the lighting correct? Is the person in focus? Is it been heavily cropped? Is the composition type accurate or not? And
Okay.
apart from that, there'll be marks for punctuality as well.
Okay.
And when it comes to the other submission types, that is committee photos and OC photos, it'll be roughly the same. Only in
Okay.
the composition type, I'll be looking very strictly at the accuracy of the photo submitted to the composition type required.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
And so will you be marking on the basis of creativity as well?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Uh, any more questions?
I think I'm done. Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
Uh, Okay, I'll see you on the day of the conference then, and I think I'll talk about all of this in much more detail on the day of the conference
Okay.
because
All
I
right.
think there'll be more people to listen to.
Yeah.
But I hope you don't feel like you've waited for nothing. Like I hope you
No,
got,
no, no.
yeah,
I myself joined a bit late, so
yeah. No, but it's good that you joined.
yes. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Should I
thank you.
leave?
Yeah, you're free to.
Sir, if we can just take a photo again.
Okay. Okay, don't leave. I need at least one person in the meeting.
Okay.
I'm so sorry about this.
No, no, that's fine. It's not your fault. लोगों ने ज्वाइन नहीं किया तो नहीं किया. It's fine.
I'm sure they would have had a good time if they would have joined because it was informative, genuinely
Yeah.
informative. As a person that I've done IP before, I've done journalism, but not photography. I never knew it was this detailed. So
No, I try to make it as detailed as I can because
Yeah,
it was
even I'm
refreshing to,
shocked.
yeah, it was refreshing to see that it was this detailed.
thank you.
So I'll just take a photo
Yeah,
again
sure.
from my phone.
All right.
Just a second.
Sorry, I can't turn on my video.
That's fine.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
If there's anything, do let us know.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Guys, there is some confusion. I think we have to join some different room. Wait, let the OC. Ishi, where do we have to join here?
So there are different breakout rooms. So the one that is named Niti Aayog, you have to join that breakout.
But where I'm not able to see the option of the breakout room. Where will I find it? Can you guide me, please?
Definitely, sir. Just give me a moment.
Bianca, where are you, man? Acha, join breakout room. Okay.
Yes,
Shit.
sir.
I was wondering why there are only 4 people in the
No, sir, there
meeting.
are people waiting in the committee room.
Shit. Guys, just select the option more, which is down there which is down there on the screen tab, and go to Niti Aayog's room. There are 35 people waiting. I'm going there right away. Also join. I'll reintroduce what Niti Aayog is there.
Delegates, there are 3 dots at the right-hand side of your screen. You'll get an option called breakout room. Over there, you can join Niti Aayog. Bianca, ma'am, is there something you need help with?
Pardon?
I wanted to ask if there was anything that I could help you with.
No. Just can you please allot me to Niti Aayog?
Okay. So, ma'am, there is a 3-dot thing called more on the
Right.
right-hand
Okay, I
side.
got it.
Yeah, over there,
Thank
there's the
you.
breakout room. From there, you can go to Niti Aayog.
Thank you. Are Karan or Gungun in this meeting?
Yes, they'll be there in the committee.
All right. ठीक है, चलो. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.